Well, hello and good morning. Um, Welcome to today's show. I'm Alex Juarez, the AARP Arizona Communications Director, and I've been away for a few weeks. I was on vacation, Coach Sherry, and I'm back all relaxed, energized, and ready to go. I worked on my balance and my stability. I did a lot of walking in Mexico City, and now I'm ready for today's show. Today, we're going to be talking about stability and balance. So, just a reminder that AARP is the nation's largest nonprofit, nonpartisan organization dedicated to empowering people 50 and older to choose how they live as they age. With a nationwide presence and nearly 38 million members across the nation and over 900,000 in Arizona, AARP strengthens communities and advocates for what matters most to families: health security, financial stability, and personal fulfillment. Coach Ariane, in the month of July, we are focused on reclaiming your health. As the nation continues to emerge from more than a year under COVID-19 pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic has made it very hard for all of us to take care of our mental and physical health. As we begin to continue to emerge into post-pandemic time and life, ARP wants to help you get healthier and stay healthier. We can help you to take small but meaningful steps to improve your overall health and mental well being and develop good habits for the future. You can go to aarp.org /healthy living. Again, that's aarp.org /healthy living for tips, tools, and resources that can help you reclaim your health today, or at www.aarp.org /AZ. So, Coach Sherry, how you been?
Good. Enjoying summer. We've been out and about enjoying nature. And so trying to get as much in as we can before school starts on August 4th. Because once that hits, it's quite minimal.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I see that you've stayed really busy in your travels while vacationing as well. You've been doing a lot of hiking, climbing. You're very busy. You stay
Well,
busy.
everything is outdoors. Like I
Yeah.
love the outdoors. We do a lot of camping. And I took my kids to the Tetons for a week, and that was the longest camping trip they've ever done. Camping straight for a week. So that was a huge undertaking
Yeah.
but exciting, and you just feel alive when you're outside. I mean, at least I do. And it sounds like you had an amazing
Absolutely.
time in Mexico City with your family. So
Yeah, I did some little traveling here and there, and we walked a ton, and it was just fantastic. The weather was absolutely phenomenal there, so that's great. So, in today's show, we're going to talk about balance and stability. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think strengthening the core is probably one of the most important things for balance and stability. Is that correct?
Oh, 100%. Because everything stems from your core, from your trunk.
Hmm.
Your extremities are just your extremities.
Right.
And balance is, they say it's just to maintain an upright position. Like that's the definition of balance.
Hmm.
And really what it is it's postural stability. And so that's why I use the word balance and stability. Because
Right.
balance people can have, like they can just stand there. But being able to be stable and keeping your center of gravity underneath you, under your base of support, because us as humans, our base is actually quite small for how tall we are, if you think
Yeah.
about it, and so our ability to be stable on our base of support is all largely dependent upon managing our center of gravity, which is our core, our hips. Our hips are the most crucial part of us being able to maintain stability and strength. And it's so interesting because I've realized over the course of time how many people just really don't pay attention to what I call the hip girdle, which is just your whole trunk and hip, front, back, and sides. And it's so important because when we're talking about stability, there's not only static stability when you're just having the ability to stand there in a static position, but it's also being able to have dynamic stability. And that's really what we want to focus on today because it's unfortunately 1 in 3 elder people over 65 are falling. And I mean, that's quite a bit. And according to the National Council of Aging, every 11 seconds, someone ends up in the ER or ED, however you want to reference it, with a fall injury, with an injury related fall. And so it's really quite imperative that we address falling. And
Yeah.
so because
Absolutely.
it's a fear. And the unfortunate part of it is as people age, and actually, so your cognitive, like your ability to stay stable and have balance, all starts declining, they say, in your 20s. 25 is when
Oh
it
my goodness,
starts.
really? That early?
Yes, and that's just
Wow.
when it starts, the decline, and then, but it doesn't really impact us until later on in life. So it's important to start paying attention to it, even in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. Don't wait until you're unstable, because at that
Right.
point, it's never too late. Don't ever get me wrong; it's never too late. But if you start sooner, then you have a better chance of maintaining it. But the fear of falling is a legitimate fear amongst elderly people, and if you have had conversations with people, they will tell you, I won't do that because I'm afraid of falling. And it creates this vicious cycle, because then when they are afraid of doing anything, then what happens? They're
Yes,
become sedentary. And when you
absolutely.
become sedentary, then you're not using those muscles and things to help keep you stable. So it's really, really important to address that fear head on. And the ways of doing that, because when you address fear, it empowers you. I mean, think about something you've been afraid of and you've hit it straight on, and then you've conquered it, and you're like, huh, that's really empowering. Like, I can do this. Like, I'm okay. So it's important to address that fear head on. And there's a lot of ways that you can do it. And it's just taking step by step, little steps, to build your confidence in overcoming that fear.
That is wonderful, Coach Ariane. Let's just pause real briefly here for for those of you that are watching us on Facebook, and just today's show is about balance and stability with Coach Ariane. And Coach Ariane, we continue to have a lot of people watching us from out of the state of Arizona, and let's go real fast through the list. Just say hello to a few of these folks that are watching us. We have, let's see, we start with Kathy. Hello from Florida. Todd Silva, Sandia Park, looking forward to B2B. Kristen, hi from Northern Virginia. Sharon Peterson, hi again from Saratoga, New York. Billy, hello from Faulkton, South Dakota. Pamela, hi from San Jose, California. We have Debbie, also from California. Judy from hello from Santa Clara, California. Cheryl, she's saying hello from Morris Plains, New Jersey. Michael, he's in Arizona. And we have Gretchen in Wisconsin. So please let us know where you're watching us. We're glad you're joining Coach Ariane. And again, today we're talking about balance and stability. So Coach Ariane, I'm going to be turning 60 in less than 2 years. And I've noticed the decline in my balance and stability since my early 20s. And it really threw me off when you said that you start losing that stability or that core really from the early 20s. But what exactly happens to the body, the brain, et cetera, that causes this?
Well, okay, so there's three main systems to balance and stability. And first is the sensory motor system in our body. And that's the
Uh-huh.
feedback that we get from our joints, our feet. And there's three main ones. It's mainly our hips, our spine, and our neck. Actually, feet, hips, spine, and neck. And those send the most signals back to the brain as far as, just where you are in space and time. And
Mhm.
so there's that system. And then we have our visual system. And then we have our vestibular system, which is our inner ear, which helps
Right.
with balance. And so naturally over the course of time, our muscle mass does decrease. Even if you're training as an elderly athlete, your muscle mass is still going to decline. And so there is that part where, and then if you become less active and sedentary, then you're losing that muscle mass that's going to help send feedback from your joints and your muscles to your brain. And then also as we age, our eyesight can decline. And so things are
Right.
declining. And then our inner ear, that's actually just, that doesn't necessarily decline as much as that's just that's a sensory system that is there, but it's impacted also by our sight. Like, have you ever tried to stand on one foot with your eyes closed?
It's hard.
Yeah. Because you
Yeah.
don't have the
Lose
visual
your balance. Yeah.
right. And so
Uh-huh.
it's really interesting how everything kind of works together. And so it's on a loop system. And so what's happening is your central nervous system is communicating with your muscular skeletal system. And it's just this automatic feedback that just keeps looping.
Right.
And so if you
Uh-huh.
have a break in the system, then, or something that's deteriorating and not functioning as well, then that's where the decline happens. And so we naturally, as we age, things do slow down and things do deteriorate, but you can slow that process by doing things to train your body and train your brain. Because the system in the brain that's helping with the loop, if your cognitive skills, and we've done brain health on this show before, so if you have missed our brain health, go back on the AARP Arizona Facebook page and search brain health, and that one will come up, and you'll learn a lot about brain health, because that's part of the whole balance and stability. So if you're not keeping your brain sharp cognitively, then that's also going to help, that's also going to help the decline actually faster. So it's important to cognitively train our brains as well, because everything works together, and so it's really important to just try to do little things here and there that will help with your stability. And keeping moving is the biggest key.
Okay, very good. Just a reminder, if you have a question for Coach Sherry-Ann, please make sure you post it on the message board. We will be happy to try to answer that question here during the show. And if we run out of time, Coach Sherry-Ann will probably go back and answer your question there. So Coach Sherry-Ann, how exactly then, what type of exercises, what can we do to either reverse or slow down the process of aging, and in particular with the balance and stability?
Well, some of the very basic things that you can do at home. Well, and first of all, let me also remind you that when you can go see your doctor, and they can do tests. They can actually do dynamic stability tests with you to see where you are at and give you tools to move forward. And it's kind of nice to get a baseline of where you're at so that you can know where you're working from. And so don't be afraid to ask your doctor about performing a balance and stability test with you. Okay. So basic things that you can do at home is standing on one foot at a time, 1 foot for 30 seconds. And if you can master that really well, then try doing it with your eyes closed. Now, if you do this, I highly, highly recommend that you are next to a countertop, like have your hand next to something that you can touch, just to give you a reference point, because once you close your eyes, you're going to start to teeter. So have something that you can grab a hold of, and then open your eye again, and then try closing it again. So if you've never done it with your eyes closed, do it first just do it with your eyes open several times so you can master it. And then when you try it with your eyes closed, if you can't, if you are able to close your eyes for 5 seconds and then open them again, get a visual reference, close them again, and work up to where you can have your balance with your eyes closed, that will be huge. And sometimes the easiest thing to do is just be standing next to a wall. You can just have your hand not touching the wall, but next to the wall. And so if you start to teeter, just touch it just to give you a reference point to know, because that's just the whole central nervous system working together.
Why don't we have our viewers try it? Let's see if we can do that, at least, standing for 5 to 10 seconds, if we can do it.
While
Can
you're
we try that?
On your computer, just stand up wherever you are, and then just stand. You can still continue to watch, so keep your eyes open, but just see if you can stand on 1 foot for 30 seconds. And right now, I'll just time it. So 30 seconds, and I'll just keep talking, and then I'll let you know, switch to the other foot and see if you can maintain it.
All right.
Another great tool to have at home, if you don't have one, is called a stability disc or a wobble board. So the wobble board is a little harder, but the stability disc is pretty basic. You can pick one up at any sporting goods store or Target or any place like that. It's typically, I've shown these on this show before, but it's smooth on one side and knobby on the other. And you can inflate it to whatever you would like. The flatter it is, the easier it is. The more air it has in it, the more challenging it is to balance on it. But once you master balancing on 1 foot, we've hit 45 seconds. I apologize, I forgot to tell you. But these balance discs are really great if you've been able to master standing on flat ground, then to try doing it with this. And hang on to something while you do it. But the benefit of doing something like this is, so we have all of these, we call them proprioceptors in our ankles. I'm just going to talk about ankles because that's usually where we're on our feet, and that's where we're worried about our stability. And when your foot is off kilter, a little bit, it sends a message saying, hey, you need to center, you need to adjust your center of gravity in order so you don't fall. So having your foot on a stability disc allows you the opportunity to train those proprioceptors to send a signal faster to your brain so that you can respond. And so the stability discs are really a wonderful tool to have. Side story, quick, cute one. I actually originally bought this for my son to sit on in 2nd grade because
Oh, really?
he cannot sit still. So if you inflate it and you sit on it, it just gives you enough little like movement that he could focus. But if he had to sit still on those 2 little sit bones, he was not going to focus. But there's a lot of benefits to a little stability disc. And a wobble board is similar, except it's flatter and it has a roller underneath it, sometimes a ball. And the nice thing about that, they're a little more challenging. And so I always encourage people, if you're going to use a wobble board, just make sure you have something to hang on to.
Right. Yeah, very important.
Yes.
So besides that stability board, I mean, what other exercises can we do to work on our core?
Well, before we get to that, I'm going to say another thing that you can do that's really, really easy is walking heel to toe. Because as we age, our gait gets shorter. And if you are going shorter, you're usually walking flat-footed and you're not allowing your ankle to fully articulate and work on those proprioceptors. So just take 20 steps doing heel to toe. And you can do this in your house or when you're out and about. Just really focus on articulating that full ankle and going heel to toe just to really keep those proprioceptors alive. Another thing that you can do is going from a sitting to standing position without using your hands. So that's part of a core exercise. And I remember me telling you before, and the movement one is that try not to throw your body forward when you're standing up, because then you're using momentum to stand up. Because a lot of people do it, you'll watch, like they'll throw their upper body forward to get momentum to stand up. But then you're losing the opportunity to use not only your core muscles, but your hip muscles, which your hips are really, really important to helping you maintain stability, but also catch yourself in a fall.
Right.
Because if you think about it, how many times have you tripped and that opposite leg that didn't get caught, like flings forward to save you, to catch you? So it's important to have those muscles. So try going from a sitting position to a standing position using no hands.
Okay.
And that's a really important thing. And then another exercise that you can do is heel raises. So just raising up on your toes. And that's easy enough. You can do that 10 to 20 times. But once again, that's part of articulating that ankle and waking up those proprioceptors, but also strengthening that lower leg to help create some better stability. So that's your foundation. So really focus on, walking appropriately. And if you find yourself shuffling or walking with shorter steps because you're afraid of falling, really focus on almost like marching. Like if you march, then it's really going to kind of wake up those muscles a little bit better, sending the signal to the brain that I'm actually walking. Because when you shuffle, you have a tendency to be afraid and you're stiff. So really emphasize how it is to walk.
So why is it again, as we age, why do we shuffle? Why do we drag our feet?
Because we're afraid of falling. It's okay. And so people have this fear. And so they feel like if they take shorter steps and not fully pick up their foot, then they're going to be safer. If you're, and in theory, they're thinking closer to the ground, shorter, and more stable, but you're not, but you're robbing yourself of using those muscles the way we're designed to be using them. And so
very important to focus, to train our brain as we're walking to lift our feet up.
Yes, absolutely. And some other exercises that you can do to really strengthen your core, some very basic, get involved in some yoga. There's so many YouTube channels that have yoga available to us. And I think with yoga, it's very important to find an instructor that matches your energy and that you feel compelled to actually do it. Because yoga is a very unique exercise and activity that involves not only the body, but the brain. So finding somebody that you enjoy their voice and that you can take their class easily, and do that, because so yoga, Pilates, Tai Chi, those kinds of activities are they're non-impact, but they're very focused on the core. And so finding something like that would be super beneficial, and not only for your body, but just for your brain.
Sure.
So you can try swimming. Swimming is a great core activity because of all of the rotation that you have to do in the water. So that's all core related. It's non-impact, because it's non-weight bearing really, because you're in the water. So doing things like that. And when you're out walking, try walking on a trail. If you can find a decent trail, then that allows you the opportunity to have your foot be in a different position. You don't have to pick a super rocky trail. We have plenty of trails around here that are dirt sidewalks, but they are not the same as just a cement sidewalk. You're challenged a little bit more.
Exactly. So we have a few comments online here. Michael looks like he tried standing on one leg, closing the eyes, and he goes, wow. Big difference. Absolutely. Judy also had a comment in here. I'm sorry, Kathy just started the sitting to standing. It's hard, but very, very, or what is it? So worth it,
Yeah.
She writes. Absolutely. So you just mentioned the walking on trails. And as you know, here in Arizona, we have a lot of trails. We have some that are flat, but we have a lot that are rocky mountains. So what is best? What should we focus in as we age?
Well, if you're not used to walking on trails, I would start with a very benign trail that's, or the canal, because the canal is dirt. And so it's not as stable as cement or asphalt. And then just slowly, gradually move up as to where you're comfortable on a little more rockier terrain. And there's nothing wrong with taking a hiking stick or a walking stick.
Excellent.
We're ambulating on 2 feet. If you look at every animal that's out ambulating, they've got 4. And so it's okay to have 2 walking sticks, because then you're able to use your upper body as well, just to create some stability. There's nothing wrong in taking hiking sticks out, no matter how benign the trail is. If it gives you stability and allows you the opportunity to have 4 points on the ground, or at least 3 when you're moving your 4th one. Did I say that right? Having 3 points on the ground when you're moving your 4th one. But I was seeing it in my brain. I just wasn't sure if I said it right. So when I'm on really steep terrain, I have hiking sticks. That way I can use my upper body as well as just having the stability of 2 extra points on the ground. Because if you think about it, we're ambulating, we're very tall, we're ambulating on 2 feet, so the stability part of things is very challenging for us as humans. It's not like it is for animals. And that's why they're so agile and able to move so quickly and freely. So don't be afraid to take out hiking sticks if you're out hiking. There's nothing wrong with that. And it's actually super, super helpful. So
that is, it really helps. So Kathy has another comment here. AARP has virtual yoga and Tai Chi from Florida, Nevada, New Mexico, etc. Very helpful. Big thank you, AARP. A reminder for those of you in Arizona, we also have Fit Phoenix, FITPHX. That we've partnered with for exercise programs, yoga, etc. So check us out on that. Shirley has another comment. Just got off the walking track at my university. I also tried the sitting and standing exercises. I will continue every day. Great job, Shirley. Congratulations. Let's keep moving.
Yes, the key is to keep moving and to not become sedentary. It's so, so important. And like I've said before throughout the Back to Basics, is you really want to shoot for, I've said it in a couple of different ways, but I want people to shoot for at least 3 times a week, 30 minutes a day. And if you can't do 30 minutes, break it up into 10-minute increments. So and if you can get to 5 times a day of doing 30 minutes, that's even better. And if you can, and in those 5 days, if you can do 3 where you're just doing walking, increasing your heart rate, getting your body actually really warm. You don't necessarily have to break a sweat, but definitely get your heart rate up, get warm. And then those other 2 days, really focus on strength training and strength building, to really help with the stability of your body. Because it's really, really critical that we maintain our bone density. And with that is weight bearing exercises. So getting out, walking, doing things like that, doing a little bit of body weight training. You don't necessarily have to go to the gym and hit the gym and be lifting heavy weights. Your own personal body weight is just enough. So doing things like that is really, really critical.
That's wonderful. Michael had a question about what was the Fit Phoenix mention that I just did, and I know Hannah just put a link in there. But a Fit Phoenix is a partnership that we have with the city of Phoenix. If you Google FITPHX, that'll give you also more of the resources of the partnership that we have with the city of Phoenix. So please go ahead and visit that site. About a year and a half ago, we opened up a Fit Park, Fit Phoenix Park in the north part of Phoenix. It's called Rose Mofford Park, and we have a series of exercise machines that people can use, and they can go exercise there. So hopefully once the pandemic slows down even more, we will be able to have more exercises at the park, where we can have yoga exercises or maybe classes there. Hopefully that'll move on as the pandemic slows down. So what else? What other tips do we have, Coach Sherry-Ann?
That's really it, is just to keep moving and don't be afraid. Like if you are afraid, just start little. Start with walking around your neighborhood, and if you are nervous about falling, then take a cane with you, take a stick with you. That'll help build your confidence until you're able to do it. And if you're not needing it, just carry it up off the ground. It doesn't have to touch the ground. So build your confidence little bit by little bit. Try new activities. Don't be afraid to go dancing, and if you have fear, then enlist a friend to do it with you. There's always power in numbers, and you can encourage one another to move past the fear, because if you stay afraid, then you are definitely going to become a statistic. You're going to be one of those that does fall. So if you're facing fear, reach out, ask for help, find a confidant that you can do things with, and just break through that fear barrier. You can do it. And so just one step at a time.
That is correct. And by the way, not only Phoenix does have that Fit Lot Parks. If you do a Google search in your state for Fit, FIT Lot, LOT, there's a site that has all the different AARP states and the cities that have these fitness parks. So look them up, and hopefully there is one in your community or close by. Hopefully you will remain active, because remember, body in motion. What happens with a body in motion?
Stays in motion.
Stays in motion, right? Exactly. If we sit down, just sit back and don't do the exercises, we're going to have issues there. Yeah. Coach Sherry-Ann, wonderful information, great tips. What do we have to look forward to in 2 weeks?
Oh, I'm excited about this one, because I've touched on it before, because it's one of the 3 pillars to back to the basics, and that's sleep. Because like I've always said, the 3 pillars to the back to basics is making sure that you're getting really good sleep, making sure that you're having healthy, good nutrition and hydration, and then moving your body. Exactly. Sleep is more imperative than people recognize. People don't give it enough credit, but when we're sleeping, that's when everything is really, really going on and happening in our bodies to help us for the next day. So I'll be giving you some good tips on how to get better sleep, because that's usually a common thread is people don't sleep well, especially right now during, the tail end of this pandemic. We're still in it, especially with the variant. There's a lot of anxiety and depression that people are facing, and that impacts our sleep. So I'll be giving you some, not only explaining why it's important, but giving you some tips on how to manage to sleep better.
So that show will be on August the 3rd, Tuesday, August the 3rd, same time. We do have one last question from Sharon. Maybe we have time to answer. She talks about, what about bending?
Yes, I mean, flexibility. I didn't really touch a whole lot on flexibility today, but flexibility is a huge part of balance and stability. And, what happens is when people actually, they bend over to do something, and then when they stand up, all of a sudden they're dizzy, and then sometimes that's when they go down. A lot of it has to do with blood pressure, because then when their head is down and then they come up, like the blood rushes and they just get a little dizzy and off kilter. Right. But bending is actually really, that's why yoga is so good. Yoga, Pilates, Tai Chi, there is a lot of bending in that with core activities. And so bending just goes along with doing any kind of activity, because if you're not moving, your muscles actually get very short. And when your muscles get short is when things aren't moving as appropriately. That's when injuries can happen. When you go to make a movement to catch yourself in a fall, if your muscles are short, then they're not able to catch you, and then you fall. And so bending is all part of any kind of movement. So
great. Coach Sherry Ann, thank you so much again. It's always a pleasure to do a show with you. To everybody watching us, thank you so much for joining us. We hope to see you again. Remember, on Tuesday, August the 3rd. I can't believe it's already August. This year is just flying by. But hope you join us again, and we appreciate you being part of the AARP family. Have a wonderful rest of the week, and be safe and stay active. Thank you, Coach Sherry Ann.
Thank you.